is up, my YouTube fam? So today's videos, I had to, I always got to start the video with a big giant blade doing the bam. So today's video, these are all just laying out here for a little bit of eye candy. Aside from this one right here, this is the knife that this video is about. Doing a little bit of a series of reviews that are beginning with this knife right here, the Sage 2. As most of you already know, if you've seen some of my previous videos here lately, I got a big box of knives, a big box of awesomeness from my buddy Acuminous Edge out in California. He sent me a bunch of stuff for review, and then subsequently released me to go ahead and start selling them to folks. So a lot of the ones that we've had up for review are already sold, including this guy. The Sage 2's gone. I've got the Swish set, I always say that wrong. Right here, I got the Techno 1, Techno 2, Swish buoy, and the Spydey chef. This Techno 2 and this Spydey chef belong to him. The chef is already gone. The Techno 2 is still up for grabs. That Tech 1 and that Swish buoy are mine, and that K2 is mine, thanks to an awesome deal that I got from Acuminous. That one got to stay with Daddy. I love that freaking knife, man. I can't get enough of it. This thing's been in my pocket and subsequently in my hand since I got it out of that box that day. On that unboxing video that you guys saw, I said, yeah, this one's going straight in my pocket, and it has stayed there. Aside from when I broke it down, I got rid of the lock stick on it. Centering's perfect, lock bar tension feels great. Polished the washers up a little bit, got it riding smooth. So now it's doing what I want it to do. And I am now the proud owner of this fat slab of titanium and 10B steel from Taichan. Anyway, and that's enough of that. So I was just wanting to talk about that one for a minute because I'm so freaking just in love with it right now. I can't do a video with it in frame and not mention it. But anyway, so yeah, man, this is a little quick kind of first impressions half review of the Spyderco Sage 2. This was my first experience with the Sage 2. I have seen them, always wanted one, never got my hands on one until this one came in, and I can tell you right now, it is fantastic. It's got just a wonderful grip on it, man. That really deep, that deep chamfered section right there on this front show scale gets you to, fully wrap over, man. And when you're in this knife, whether you're in this back choil here or in this front choil, I mean, you're really in there. And because you sit so deep on that front, it kind of locks in your bend of your finger there on that lock bar, so you are not coming off of this knife, and that lock bar would never fail. I mean, it's Vinny Nero did a really good video the other day talking about lock bar tension of frame locks, and how a lot of people kind of test their frame locks with no tension on the lock bar with their hand or anything else holding it over, and they'll test the tension by spine whacking it or whatever. But what a lot of people forget is what Vinny mentioned, which makes a ton of sense, man. When you're grabbing onto this knife, whether it's reverse grip or pinch grip or whatever you're doing, you've got some kind of pressure on this lock bar, and that is, I mean, helping the tension of that lock holding in place, helping it exponentially. So that was a great video. If you haven't had a chance to go check that out, definitely do that. I think it was one of the, may have been the second to last video he uploaded, talking about I think he had the Cold Steel 8010 and a couple other ones out there, and he was talking about the triad lock versus good hard use knives with frame locks, and about how a lot of people feel like that triad lock is superior. And I'm not going to give away the video, but he had some super valid points, man, that you do not really think about. He had some great points about the fact that triad lock is really good to keep the knife from folding. But how much cutting do you do like that? I mean, that's one of the main valid points of that video, is how much cutting do you do like that? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't keep the spine of my knives very sharp. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm not going to give away too many of his points. I'll leave that for him to do. But it was a very good watch, man. Definitely go check him out. Patty's Potato Pillars made a good point in the comments. He said that he really likes Vinny's thinking out loud videos, which is kind of a similar format to me, man. I have no freaking clue what I'm gonna say when I turn this camera on. I'm just as surprised by the wads of crap that come out of my mouth as you guys are. I never have a plan on what I'm gonna say. I just throw a knife on the table and go, I'm gonna talk about this one, and then I just cut it on. And I think Vinny does the same thing. I think he puts a little bit more thought into it, but it is more of a thinking out loud format in the sense that when he turns that camera on, he's kind of figuring things out as he's talking about it. You know, he's got a thought in his head and an idea of something he wants to discuss, and then he just kind of starts flowing with it, and he's figuring it out and playing it out with you guys. And I kind of dig the way that he does that. I like that format, and I bring a little bit of that to my channel. But let's get into this knife real quick. It's going to be kind of a short video. I don't have a ton of experience with it. What I can tell you is if you like a small to medium size folding knife, a Spyderco especially, this is a great option. And sorry for the gentleman that bought this. I've got fingerprints all over it and stuff. But I've really liked this knife. I didn't do any cutting with it because it's not mine, and I basically sold it before I ever even really got to do a lot of carrying it. So I wanted to respect the gentleman that purchased it. I'm sure he would not have minded if I cut a few things with it, but I still didn't do it, and I'm not going to. I just carried it around a little bit, and I wanted to keep it unmarked up. The only mark on this knife is right there. Looks like at some point someone turned the clip around. You know, these clips are obviously reversible, and at some point somebody turned the clip around, and you know, those wire clips move a little bit, so we got a little bit of a mark right there. But other than that, this knife is literally flawless, man, and I wanted to keep it that way. But I'm super impressed with the Sage 2, which I'm super impressed with all of the titanium Spyderco knives, so that's not a big surprise to you guys, I'm sure. No one's ever said the words "Bama knife guy" and then something negative about Spyderco in the same sentence. I don't think it's, if you're talking about, you know, what I say about Spyderco, you pretty much know I like the brand. I've got some negative things to say, but I'm not one of those types of guys. So I'll keep that hush hush because it's subjective, and I'm not really one about sharing negative subjective things. It just seems kind of senseless to me because all you're doing is saying negative things about a brand that, you know, someone else may not agree with. It's not factual. So but yeah, I like the knife a lot. It's S30V, obviously titanium frame lock, leaf shaped blade. I don't, you know, you guys know I'm not a specs guy, so I'm not going to give you a lot of specs on this knife. What I can do is give you a few size comparisons. This is and I'm doing the lineup this way because Alchemy 1 kind of taught me this about the fact that proportionally and the way knives look in reference to one another, if you stack them vertically in the view of the camera rather than horizontally, it skews the view quite a bit, even if there's only two knives on the table, and even if your camera is nearly face down, nearly, you know what I mean, it still skews the view. So I've started doing, when I do comparisons, I'm going to start doing things horizontally. I learned that from Clint, Alchemy 1. He's a treasure trove of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. So, but here's the Spydie Chef. As you can see, it is very similar in size as far as, you know, the overall dimensions. The handle's a little bit bigger on the Spydie Chef. A little bit closer still is the Sleesh Buoy. The Sleesh Buoy's a little thicker, and of course there's your Technos 1 and 2 there. But it's a medium to small size. If I was going to categorize this knife, I would say that it's more of a gentleman's folder. This is something that I would carry. I would feel comfortable carrying if I was wearing a suit or something like that, or going out to a nice dinner. It's just such a clean design. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. It's not kind of, you know, there's no crazy colors, no wild backspacers, and just a really simple, elegant design that I really like. I love the way those standoffs look. I mean, it's just a clean knife, just a really clean knife. And I think everybody can respect beauty in simplicity. And I really do like that. I like when somebody can take two slabs of titanium, a wire clip, some screws, and a piece of steel, and make something functionally beautiful as well as aesthetically beautiful. I mean, this is, when you look at the sum of its parts here, it's just a knife, but when you look at each one of those parts individually and the way that it works in conjunction with the one next to it, it really is nice, man. It's nice the way they bring it all together. And Spyderco's always been good at doing that, so I like the simplicity, and I just like this knife. So if you haven't had a chance to check out a Sage 2, definitely go do it, man. It gets a thumbs up from me. That's it on that one, guys and gals. I love you.